सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Om. Let us chant the Dhyana Shloka again. Dikkala Adi Avan Anavachinna Ananda Chinmatra Murtaye Swanubhutya Ekamanaya Namashantaya Tejase. We have been seeing selected shlokas of the Neeti Shatakam, trying to improve our personality, because for us to ultimately get the Vedantic knowledge, one has to prepare the mind. The mind preparation can be done through Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga. In the Karma Yoga, you go towards the external world and act with the attitude of Ishvara Arpana Prasada Bhava and be a contributor to the world, which is the activity part. And we are supposed to improve the mind by Sadgunas, by getting good virtues. That can be done only by dharmic living. Only when we live a life of dharma, we will be able to improve our so-called personality. Only when we improve the mind through karma upasana yoga, then only jnanam can come inside. So it is very important for the Vedantic people, for those who are spiritual seekers, for those who are in the Vedanta Marga, who are studying the scriptures. It is very important that we prepare the mind, and Neeti Shatakam is an important text. For those who are not studying or coming to Bhagavad Gita and other Vedantic classes, how is it useful? Because for a person to live in this world, one should live as a person, as a human being. You cannot be living like an animal. There should be a difference between man and an animal, woman and an animal. So we have to live as a person. We are called Manusha. Manushya means we are all superior one compared to other jantus, other pranis. So we are expected to behave in a matured way. Whether you are in the Vedantic path or not, we are supposed to be living a life of dharma, which is a prerequisite, because that is the condition with which Bhagavan has given us this human body. If we are going to abuse our free will and live like an animal, then Bhagavan simply will say, I will make this person an animal in the next Janma. It is not worth giving Manushya Janma for the person, because he is wasting it. Not only wasting, he is behaving like an animal. So better we remove him from the human list. Next birth will be animal one. So very basic, we are supposed to live as a human being, for which dharma is required. And dharma and adharma, there is always a confusion. Formally, what you do when the process, either you go to the original, which is Vedas, which is the Moolam, which is the source. Go and see the Veda Purva Bhaga, which talks about all the Dharma Shastra. But can all of us study? It is not possible. Okay, then what you do? Then you go to the secondary scriptures. Go to Ramayana, go to Mahabharata, go to Puranic stories. So otherwise called Smriti Granthas. So by which you can learn what is right and what is not. Again, there could be confusion, because in one place it say you follow this, in other place it will say you follow this. So there should be some seeming contradiction. They are actually not having contradiction, because in each part something is highlighted. When it comes to Harishchandra Puranam, it is all about Satyam, speaking truth. Okay. And then when you come to Tirukural, and Tiruvallur says, Poimayam Vaimaidatte Porai Teemda Nanmai Paikuminil. If you tell a lie which can be good for others, you can say. So now whether you want to speak the truth or whether speaking truth is not to be followed. because dharma is relative. It is very, very confusing. So you have to take the contextual meaning and accordingly you have to take it up. And so there could be confusion if you go to the secondary scriptures like any smritis, idikasas, puranas could be challenged. Now, to Shastra gives you the third layer. If you don't have the understanding of the Vedas, or if you do not know how to interpret the Puranas and Idikasas, what you do is you go and approach the Mahans or the people, the noble people who have got the Dharma Shastram background. And Bhadrahari is one such Mahan who has given the guidance. So you approach the people who are living, who are there, and who have got the Dharma Shastram, the contextually how to interpret, and then give you the suggestion. So, Neeti Shatakam is the text which gives us the direction and how to follow. And other than the initial Mangala Shloka, we have seen about 6 shlokas. And we should remember all these things. And we are parallelly also looking at Tirukural also. Here, wherever there can be comparable Tirukurals, we are highlighting, and you can go and do the homework also for those things. So we have seen in the last sloka number 26. Now, and we have completed that. In the sloka 26, what it says, okay, which is the sloka 43 in the other textbook. 1 second, let me take that. Sloka 54, Prana agata nivrittihi paradana harena samyamaha satya vakyam kale shaktya pradhanam yuvati janakatha mukhabhava paresham trishnas reto vibhango gurushusha vinayah sarvabhuta anukampa samanyam sarvasatreshu anupahata vidhi shreyasam yesha pantaha. That means you are supposed to avoid himsa of anything. Adveshta sarva bhutanam. That's what is the first one. And then never have a craving for possessing somebody's things. Okay. Pirar udaimegalil patrinmai. Never look for or grabbing what others have got. Never have that. And then dhanam. We talked about dhanam very much. So give dhanam, charity. And never talk about the other ladies, about anything. Never talk about anybody, about other ladies especially. And then it talked about and then you have got the humility towards the guru. And then Jivarashi Karunyam, compassion towards all the Jivarashis. And then anything you do has to be in line with the Shastram. That's what it is. And all these things will give you Shreyas. That's what the last sloka concluded. And we interpreted Shreyas is nothing but moksha. Shreyas means moksha. We elaborately talked about it. So, which we have seen. Now, let us go to sloka number 28. Asantona abhyatyaha sukrita abhinayachya krishadanaha priya nyaya vritti malinam asubhange api asukaram vibaduchais dhairyam padam anuvideyam cha mahatam satam kena uttishtam ishavamasidara vritamidam asantona abhyatyaha sukrit abhina yachya krishadanaha vibhati uchaistairyam padam anuvideyam cha mahatam satam ke priyanyaya vritti malinam asubhange abhisukaram vibhati uchaistairyam padam anuvideyam cha mahatam satam kena uttishtam vishamam asidara vritamidam. See, in some books, the first line is interchanged between the first and second line. That's where the confusion. The book which I have got and which our Swamiji has given, the first and second lines have got interchanged. That's where it is. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. Again, here Bhadrahari continues. Bhadrahari presents certain principles or vows followed by the noble people here. Not that they learnt it from somewhere and those nobleness is naturally in their blood. It is very natural to them. So there he himself says that they are very difficult principles to follow. They are so difficult that it is called the Asidhara Vratam. The last line, Asidhara Vratam. That means what? Difficult principles to be followed. Because following dharma is not easy. It is difficult. But is it impossible? Answer is no. You have to understand this very clearly. Following dharma, is it difficult? Yes. Because normally our tendency is to go by the ragadvesha, the likes and dislikes what we have got, which is very easy, which is called prakrita purusha. Uncultured people, they go by the whims and fancies, likes and dislikes of their own. Whereas if you want to follow dharma, dharma means do's and don'ts, which is prescribed in the Shastra. That means that is something if you like and it is dharmic, it is easy. If it is difficult, it is not your nature, and it is what dharma wants you to do it, then it is very difficult. So to follow dharma, sometimes it is difficult. But is it impossible? Answer is no. How? By practice. Practice makes a person perfect. That you have to understand. So here he says, Asidhara Vratam. These are these difficult principles to be followed for normal people, whereas for the noble people, it is very natural. For them, it is very natural. So Asidhara means razor edge. So Asidhara Vratam means razor's edge principles. Why are they called razor's edge principle? The idea is just as it is very difficult to walk over razor's edge, in the same way, it is very difficult to adhere to these principles. If a person adheres to these principles, indeed he is really great. What are they? We will take the second line first. Okay. As I told you, in some books, they present the second line as the first line. So this is with regard to the noble people's livelihood. So what do they do for their livelihood? Bhadragiri says, Priya Nyaya, Priya Nyaya Vrittihi. For their livelihood, they take a righteous means. They do not want shortcut methods or compromising methods. Nyaya Vrittihi means Dharmika Jivanam. Vrittihi means vocation, livelihood, profession, etc. It is the work that we do for earning our life. It may be business, it may be working somewhere, it may be writing, it may be teaching, it may be anything. So this is called Vrittihi. So Nyaya Vrittihi. That means they take to the legitimate way of earning. Priya means what? Which they love to do. That is why they respect their inclination, their disposition. When a person does work merely for the sake of money, the problem is that there's no job satisfaction. When I do a work with which I am not satisfied, then when Monday comes, there's a lot of resistance to work. Therefore, there is a strain every day because there is incongruity in liking and the job. So, Priya Nyaya Vrittihi is the first principle. I'll tell you, recently I was in India and we have to do some house renovations. Okay, it is quite some time, it has become rundown and we have to do some work. So, when I call a contractor and then I bought one AC and I buy something, and immediately people ask, you do the work, quotation, you ask, take the quotation, so he says, the quotation says, whether this is the price without GST. And this is the price, this is a GST, 18%, this is including GST. What is happening is, people have got double standards. You can sell with GST or without GST. This is what happens. So if you are an ethical person, what you should say? I want to pay GST. Very simple. So anything you do, you must follow the dharma. There are loopholes in the system by which people evade. I normally say, you go to say, for example, a park or something in India, ticket will be sold and he'll say camera 50 rupees extra. And there are 10 people, the person will take some bribe and say, let the 10 people go, they'll give you 3-4 tickets and camera is free, you just bribe him something. Very common. You are not supposed to take advantage of anything. It is very, very important. Very important. So, first principle is priyanyaya vrittihi. That means anything you do, you must follow the ethics. Very, very important. Follow the rules is one, and ethics is second one. And the second principle is ashubhange api malinam asukaram. Even if the life is threatened, he doesn't do unrighteous actions. Now, ashubhange abhi malinam asukaram. Even if a life is threatened, he does not do an unrighteous actions. Shreyan swadharmo vignoha paradharma swanishtita. Swadharme didhanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha. Bhagavan says in Gita. So he doesn't take to unrighteous means of earning. Malinam means ashuddham, adharmam, papam. So malinam is papa karma. Ashubhangaha means na prana nashaha. Ashubhambe api balinam asukaram. Even if I lose my life, I cannot do unrighteous actions. Swadharme nidhanam shreya. This is the second principle. There's a financial crisis and he has to borrow money. So where does he do? Then comes the first line. Na, asanto asantah na abhyartyaha. Asantah na abhyartyaha. Even in financial crisis, he will not ask from people who have earned money through unrighteous means. He will not ask people money who have earned money through unrighteous means. Okay. That means what? Is a doubtful means by which the person would have earned. I don't want that money. There have been some charity organizations which scrutinize very clearly where the source of money come from. And if those people they feel they are unethical, they say, I don't want your money at all. There have been organizations like this. It is because when such a money is taken, along with the money, that papam also comes. Understand this. Such a papam is called asat pratigraha papam. Asat pratigraha papam. Borrowing ill-gotten wealth. In the daily Sandhya Vandanam, na apa punantu prithvi puta punantu mam, punantu brahmanaspatir brahma puta punantu mam, edushchishtamabojyam, edvaduscharitam mama, sarvam punantu mamam po, asat asatancha pratigraha griswaha, sarvam punantu mam apaha. This jalam should remove all the papams. You take the water and then we drink it after chanting it in the Madhyanikam, in the middle noon prayer. Now, one of the papam is asatancha pratigraham. If I have taken something from people of less character, I do not know. For example, I go to the hotel, I eat, and with what mood the person is cooking or with what mood the server is serving, we do not know. So, by any chance, if I have taken something from some people of less character, so now for a brahmachari, it is important because he has to take bhiksha from several people. And doing Sandhyandam Vandanam will neutralize it. Of course, Sandhya Vandanam is not only for brahmachari, it is for everyone. Everyone is supposed to do who has got the Upanayanam, who is initiated with the thread ceremony. So whatever you have taken, you are supposed to pardon it. It is like taking a laddu and insulin injection also. So asat pratigraha dosha will come. Therefore, he does not knowingly receive. So this is the third principle. So what do? You try to avoid. Otherwise, you do prayashchittam where you do not know. You do prayashchittam every day. So for others who are not initiated, what do you do? Because Sandhya Vandanam is meant for only certain people, not for everyone. So every day in your prayer, you can tell in English or whichever vernacular language you know. In morning when you get up, what do you do? Oh God, lead me in the path of dharma all the time. And be aware of dharma and not having association with adharmic people. That is point number one. Second thing is, at the end of the day, when you go to bed, by any chance, if I have committed any mistake or if I have taken anything from anywhere which is there, please pardon me. Do one prayashitta prayer, sitting in the bed, and then pray and then go to bed. Very easy. That's what we can do. Then he says, Sukritabi Krishadanaha. No. Next one. Sukritabi Krishadanaha na Nyayachya Nayachyaha. Sukritabi Krishadanaha. Abhi Nayachyaha. Sukrit api Krishadanaha apinayachyaha. What does it mean? He will also not ask from his friend if the friend himself is in a lean patch. Now, Krishadanaha means who himself is poor, who himself doesn't have much wealth. If I am in trouble and I ask a friend who himself is poor, what will he do? Because he is a close friend, he will give because he doesn't want to say no. And having given money to me, he will suffer. Therefore, I will be indirectly responsible for his suffering. I don't know whether we have got such friends today who is able to give you, first of all, but because the moment you go and ask anybody, then the friendship, can really test your friendship whether the person is really willing to help. In fact, when it comes to friendship, Valluvar gives 5 adhikarams. You can go and check 5 adhikarams. They are நட்பு ஆராய்தல், பழைமை, கூடா நட்பு, தீ நட்பு. So he is giving 5 adhikarams for the natpu. They are from adhikaram number 79 to 83. நட்பு ஆராய்தல், பழைமை, தீ நட்பு, கூடா நட்பு. So you can understand, because friendship is very, very important, especially in the current context where our population is dwindling, especially those who are so-called educated in the modern education. The population becomes, they have only 1 kid or 2 kids. Two itself is becoming rare. People have got only 1 kid because they say the cost of raising a children is so high. So people have got only 1 kid. And with the results, now we have got very less family and siblings and others. So you have to have obviously a friend who is also emotionally connected with you, so you are able to have your emotional sharing with somebody else. So when you have got such a friend, he himself is poor, and if you are going to ask him, and he will be indirect, and he will not say no, he will be not say no, he will give it to you, but he is poor, so he will suffer. So such a noble person will not ask such a person at all. So Sugritibi Nyayachya, he will not ask. So if he gets help from a person who can, or if he can earn in the righteous manner, then alone he will continue such a way of life. So suppose by following such a life, he is in a big crisis, what he will do? But Badriri says he will face it. Now, Uchaihi, there are two versions. Uchaihi Dhairyam in some places, this thing. Other Uchaihi Stayam. If he is in crisis or difficulty, he will face it with boldness. Like Harishchandra, he said, I will not speak untruth. So whatever be the suffering, I will face it. So if a person doesn't have anybody to help you, he doesn't want to ask anyone, he is ready to face whatever happens in his life. He is ready to face with boldness, keeping his head high, without self-condemnation, without self-pity. He doesn't have self-pity or self-condemnation because he is proud of himself. He has got that moral strength that he is following a dharmic, a righteous way of life. He may be poor externally, but he has got that inner strength. Therefore, he doesn't put his head down for his poverty. So, Uchaihi Steyam or Uchaihi Dhairyam, both are okay. He keeps his head high even in adversity. This is very, very important, because sometimes you have got challenges and how to take it, how such people will take it. The moment they get such a difficulty is coming where he doesn't have any solution, nobody to help, and he'll be boldly facing it, how he will get the strength? There are quite a few answers you can give. The one thing is that he will say, it is my prarabdha. If you have got some Vedantic background, you will say it is my prarabdha. That is called fate in the modern language. Okay, vidhi. So I have to endure it. There's no choice for it. What cannot be cured must be endured. This is one way. If a person is a very religious person, then he will say, it is Bhagavan is testing me. Bhagavan Sodana Pandra. Bhagavan is testing me. Let me see whether I can win this battle, this hurdle, whether I can cross over this hurdle. So he is testing me. So that's what it is. So he is able to go through that with the idea saying that Bhagavan is testing me. That is the another way of approach he will take it. And in fact, Valluvar says in one Quran, Idukkan Varungal Nagha. He says, whenever there is a problem, you laugh at it. And third one is, only in Christ, your real adherence to values, dharmas is tested. So whether I am really, that is the examination. So Bhagavan is giving an examination, testing me, and so that whether I am passing the examination. Because this is a very tough exam to pass. Theory everybody can study, but when you come to practical life, whether I am following dharma, that's why we say to prepare the mind to get the Vedantic knowledge is the most difficult part. The preparation is called sadhana chatushtayam, fourfold qualification: vivekam, vairagyam, mumukshutvam, samadhi shatka sampatti. So if to get the qualification is very, very difficult. Once you get the qualification, then it is very easy to get the jnana. You have to focus a lot of time, effort in preparing the mind. More than 80-90% goes into that. Once the prepared mind is there, jnanam is very easy. I'll give you an example. For example, you have got a tawa, which where you get dosa. So if the tawa is hot, if the tawa is very hot, then you do the dosa on it. The dosa will be very quickly ready. Because the original tawa, the steel, the iron itself is quite thick. At least it is 5 to 7 mm thickness. That's where you get a very good quality dosa. To heat it up, it will take 15-20 minutes or even half an hour sometimes, if it's the big ones in the hotels. So once it is ready, once you put the batter on it, the dosa will be very quick. That will not take more than a minute for it to be ready. So preparation takes time. Similarly, the mind preparation takes a lot of time. So when there is a crisis comes, when nobody is there to help you, no other choice, every option is explored, no other choice, we have to go through it. Such a noble person will face it boldly. Either he will draw the strength from what? From Bhagavan. He will lean towards Bhagavan. Tunba pudathilittu thuyavan aki vaitai. There's a song. You giving suffering by which you are purifying me. So that is the approach of leaning towards Bhagavan. Or if it is a Vedantic person, he will say, it is my fate, the prarabdha which is coming, and for which I have to endure. There's no cure at all. What cannot be cured must be endured. Say, a noble person as God. Next one. Then, Mahatam Padam Anuvideyam. Mahatam Padam Anuvideyam. Even in such a difficulty, he will follow the path of noble ones. Now, Mahatam Padam means the path followed by Mahatmas like Dharmaputra, Rama. Okay, Rama went through so much of suffering. Sri Ram Navami is coming, 30th March. Rama's birthday is coming, not far away, just a month away. Rama's birthday is coming. Rama, Dharmaputra. Even though Dharmaputra is an embodiment of Dharma, he had a split of a moment where he went into gambling and got into trouble. Then rest you know the story. So then Nala. So how much of suffering Nala had? So Padam means their footstep. Anuvideyam means should be followed. That is why studying the Puranic stories, reading Itikasam, Ramayana, Mahabharatam and Bhagavatam gives you a lot of inputs for improving our Dharma Shastra knowledge and follow Dharma. Very important. So for Harishchandra, for example, Vishwamitra tried all things just to make Harishchandra tell one line. After some time, the Nakshatraka came to Vishwamitra and said, you have already won the case. So why are you torturing him? Then Vishwamitra asked, what are you talking? So Nakshatraka said, almost every time you meet him and give him trouble, he has been addressing you as Karuna Sindhoho. So Karuna Sindho, so jokingly he says, he is addressing you as a man of compassion, but you are torturing him. Therefore, he has told a lie long before. This is a joking way of saying. So whenever we are getting trouble, we can say Bhagavan is testing me. One more angle we can look at it. Last angle. Whenever there is a trouble, this is from the Shastric angle, because we all have what is called that papam and punyam. We all have a bundle of punyam and papam. Punyam means the merits which you have done in the past, that is called punyam, and papam means whatever bad things we have done, that is accumulated as papam. And only a part of it only is coming down as prarabdham. So one of the ways is for you to compromise, for you to reconcile or console yourself is, whenever there's a trouble, you can say, some papam is going down from my bundle of fixed deposit. Whenever you are in trouble, you can always say, some papam is going out. So I'm getting better and better. That's another way of looking at it. So, so how Harishchandra did not give up, and he was always in the follow path of dharma. So Mahantam Padam Anivideyam. So such a life, Idam Vishwam Asidara Vratam. So this Asidara Vratam, which is extremely difficult to vow, because the beauty is, Madhagiri says, Kena na Udishtam. Kena Uddishtam means Upadishtam. Kena Uttishtam. Sorry, Kena Uttishtam. Uddishtam. Kena Uddishtam Vishamam. Kena Uddishtam. Na. So this is very, very difficult. Kena Uddishtam. So no, Upadishtam. He asked the question, who taught these values to noble people? Nobody has taught to the people. They are naturally Sahajam. So it is very, very natural for those people. They are very naturally getting these things. So this is where in the Tirukural, there's a beautiful section of Adhikaram called Aran Valiyuruttal. To go back, this is the fourth Adhikaram in the Tirukural, Aran Valiyuruttal. Aran means Dharma. Valiyuruttal means emphasis. Yeah, so you have to, all the 10 Kurals are homework for you, of which I will give you only one pickup, one Kural for example, which is Kural number 39. Arattan varvade inbam matrallam puratta pugalum ila. This is saying, what does it mean is, Arattan varvade inbam. That means you follow dharma, the dharma will lead to really happiness. Ultimately, dharma will never go waste. Following dharma will always give you happiness, because once you are getting used to dharmic way of life, even when trouble comes, as Walluvar said somewhere, as I told you, Idukkan Varungal Naguha, you will laugh at those things. Take Kushela. Kushela was very happy for himself. He was in penury, he was in poverty, and he never wanted to go to Krishna and ask anything. His wife was pushing, saying that he was your classmates in Santipani, why don't you go and ask him? He went with the owl, with the rice flakes, and he didn't want to ask also. He just went and offered to his friend, and Krishna happily ate it. And Krishna knows that his wife has sent him, and Kushela did not ask. He said, "Hello, friend, bye bye," and then he came back. So since Krishna knows the reason why his wife pushed him to go and meet him, Krishna filled up the house and made it a big bungalow. All those stories. So understand what is the significance of the story. Once you follow dharma, will pay you, because Lord is watching. Understand, this is the most important thing. And today's world, and people immediately say in Kali Yuga it is very difficult. No,